Hey everyone, welcome back to our second to last episode before 2025. That is right. I genuinely don't believe it. I will not believe it. And the fact that I will also be turning a quarter of a century is just awful and should be illegal. And I just don't want to talk about it because that's genuinely the scariest thing that I think will ever happen to me. And I know I'm being dramatic, but you guys, even when I turned 23, 24, in the back of my head, I was like, you will be turning 25 soon. And I just don't want to believe it. So we're just not going to be thinking about that and just going to be focusing on the holiday season and a amazingly new year that is about to be here, right around the corner. Anyway, I am going to be doing all my resolutions talk next week, although forewarning, there will be no like crazy resolutions. I have a whole speech I've written up, not really, but we're doing it a lot differently for me, myself, and I in the next year. And as part of that, if you're watching this on YouTube, this is not my normal setup, and that is because I am doing a December declutter. So I'm basically decluttering all the areas of my home that I have put off. And a part of that, and the thing that I wanted to declutter the least, was my podcasting / cat's room, hence why he's always in here acting a fool. But I just need to declutter, and I know it will make me feel so much better, and my head will just feel like more clear going into 2025, knowing my whole house is put together, everything we don't really use is thrown out, and I think it'll be good. So what I did literally last night, I got a rush of energy. And the thing with me, and maybe it's because my brain is like ADHD, if I have the slightest ounce of a motivation or energy to go clean something, I have to stop whatever I'm doing and go do it right away, or the moment will just be gone, and then I don't know when I'm ever going to have it again. It could be weeks, it could be months, no one knows. So in my head, I was like, I feel like I could tackle the podcast room and the room with all of my cat stuff. And me took everything out of this room. And the animals tried to help me and just made it more stressful, but genuinely took everything out of this room. I have half the stuff in the hallway, half the stuff in our guest bedroom, a little bit of stuff in our guest bathroom, and I have yet to put it all back together because I'm doing a thing where before I bring it back into this room, I have to decide if I want to keep it, throw it, donate, whatever. So that's why the background's a little bit different, because I've been moving so much stuff around, and it's been fun. It will be good once it's done, but the whole process of getting it all done is going to be a lot, but that's okay. Anyways, next week, look forward to our little New Year's resolutions talk, because it's going to be a good one, you guys. Anyways, what else? Christmas next week. When we chat next, it'll be after Christmas. So I hope everyone has an amazing Christmas, and wherever you will be, whoever you will be with, that you just have the most amazing time, just relaxing and just being with the ones that you love. I know for me, one thing I've loved about having our own little place and home is getting Christmas cards. I love getting Christmas cards, and I love getting mail in general. I wish it was more normalized to still send letters to people, because whenever I get something in the mail, it's normally like a bill or something, or just junk mail. And so whenever I actually get something in a letter that I can open and it's like actually from someone, it makes our whole entire week. So we have just been getting a ton of Christmas cards, and I have been absolutely loving it. I still have Christmas cards up on my fridge from last year because I just love getting them so much. And so eventually my whole fridge is just going to be covered, because I don't want to throw them away, which is probably should be something I declutter, is all of the things on my fridge. But that's a later issue. Anyways, I think that is everything I had to chat with you guys on, but I hope everyone has an amazing Christmas, since we won't be, talking until after Christmas when Santa comes. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into some hot gossip, hot take, stories, and advice that will have you saying, literally what? Okay, you guys, our first story is Christmas themed. I thought that was just the best way to start off the episode, because one of my favorite movies is being talked about. One of my favorite Christmas movies, and that is The Grinch. None other than the actor who plays the Grinch, Jim Carrey, was recently doing an interview, and he said that he would play the Grinch again, which I think is such exciting, amazing news. I love The Grinch with my whole entire heart. And we're going to talk about what he said, because he did have a few caveats to if he were to play it again, what would have to happen. So Jim Carrey announced he would consider returning for a How the Grinch Stole Christmas sequel. And then people are also saying that it would be great to see Will Ferrell in his iconic Christmas role Elf, which I think that would be crazy too. But anyway, we'll talk about that if it ever comes. So How the Grinch Stole Christmas, obviously one of the best Christmas movies, no doubt about it. The box office success in the 2000s earned over $346 million, joining Elf in Christmas movie infamy. And both Elf and The Grinch have gained a reputation as beloved Christmas classics. And so it's strange that neither of them, I think more so The Grinch, because I'm pretty sure there's a script written for after The Grinch ends, and it's kind of like when he's just part of Whoville. Something, I think it's a thing. Maybe it's not. But also, there have just been a lot of rumors, but no one, specifically Will Ferrell or Jim Carrey, have talked about potential returns until Jim Carrey did his little interview. So he has talked a lot about issues he had when filming How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Okay, so we all know, if you've seen anything about, YouTube videos or interviews or anything when the movie was filming, the Grinch's costume caused a lot of problems for Jim Carrey, as we can imagine, because it was a very invasive and exhausting process. I saw a video of him getting the face put on. I genuinely cannot imagine not just getting that, sitting there and getting it put on, but also having to perform and act in such a way he acted, which was like great acting, obviously, but also like having this super just heavy, invasive, just like I'm sure itchy, sweaty, just crazy costume on. And he said that he was just in this green fur. He wore enlarged contact lenses and said it felt like being buried alive every day. And the process was so grueling that a CIA torture expert had to help Jim Carrey cope. So it's no surprise that The Grinch 2 has never happened. And, obviously, if we're comparing it to Elf, that's tights and a little hat. So he's fine. But anyways, so he said that if he were to return in How the Grinch Stole Christmas, he said that CGI and motion capture would have to be used instead of the original prosthetics. He said, I had to do it with a ton of makeup. I could hardly breathe. It was an extremely excruciating process. But with motion capture and things like that, I could be free to do some other things. So obviously this is very understandable, and I'm sure everyone would be on board, especially if they could get him to do a second Grinch. And I remember him saying in this interview something about whenever he was just like felt just buried alive, like he was saying, and just gross and just hating it, he would just say, I'm doing this for the kids. I'm doing this for the kids. And now it makes me appreciate the movie even more, especially just like his acting in this movie is so good. And I can't picture any other person portraying the Grinch as he did. And so it just makes me appreciate all of the hard work. And I'm sure a lot of people don't even know, that he went through all of that. And now you know to really appreciate when you're watching The Grinch, everything that Jim Carrey had to go through. So anyways, with that being said, I do think that there will be talks about it. I think whenever the main character is kind of on board, I think that's kind of the green light go ahead. And I want to say there is some kind of script about a sequel, unless I'm making that up. Because if it's already written, maybe not, maybe I made it up, but I'm pretty sure that there is some kind of sequel storyline already out there. But yes, very exciting. I'm going to go watch The Grinch tonight, actually, because that sounds really, really great. Okay, our next story, kind of crazy because I did not think this person would ever come out and make a statement. But Ethan Slater's ex, Lily, she broke her silence on their divorce. And she basically put out this really, I think, really beautifully written article. And I'm going to read it because it just, for all of you people who didn't think Ariana and Ethan did anything wrong, we're just going to read through this and chat about it after. Okay, so let's listen. And this is by Lily, who was Ethan's ex-wife, obviously. No one gets married thinking they'll get divorced, in the same way we don't board a plane expecting to crash. But I really never thought I would get divorced, especially not just after giving birth to my first child, and especially not in the shadow of my husband's new relationship with a celebrity. In the season of shock and mourning, over a year after the end of my marriage was made public, I deeply missed the life of invisibility I created for myself as a psychologist specializing in women's mental health. We'll skip a little bit of this. During my pregnancy, I had never felt happier, no more aware of how precarious happiness could be. When my baby was first placed on my chest, I sobbed with relief. We had done it. He had arrived. I knew all the statistics, how vulnerable a marriage is in the postpartum period, how vital community connection is in preventing depression and anxiety, how new parenthood impacts a whole family, but I confidently, moved to another country with my 2-month-old baby and my husband to support his career. Consumed by the magic and mundanity of new motherhood, I didn't understand the growing distance between us. Motherhood fills your time, but not your mind. And in the countless hours I spent rocking my son to sleep, I worked diligently on my private project of accepting the sudden public downfall of my marriage. This, I tell myself, is nothing to be ashamed of and nothing to hide. I have come to believe that in the absence of the life I planned with my high school sweetheart, a lifetime of sweetness is waiting for me and my child. While our partnership has changed, our parenthood has not. Both of us fiercely love our son 100%, regardless of how our parenting time is divided. Days when I can't escape the promotion associated with the saddest days of my life are darker. So she's talking about the movie. All of that when it came out. It goes on and it goes on longer, but I think just reading this, number one, I think is beautifully written, very thought out. Number two, this totally disproves the whole storyline of them being divorced months prior. And it just shows she was completely blindsided to this. And I genuinely just hurt for her, because especially when she was saying that she literally moved with her baby to help her husband follow this dream of his and to be on this movie, and then to see her life just ripped away, and how I'm sure, of course, the tabloids affected patients that were going to see her, a job offer she was supposed to get. I'm sure, of course, that had to do with all the tabloids coming out. And I think it was just so sad, especially when she was talking about the days where she can't escape the promotion of a movie associated with the saddest days of my life. I mean, I can't imagine having to see the father of your child and your high school sweetheart, who you now are no longer with, and just him up with this celebrity all over the place with the promotion of their movie. You know, seeing him just flaunt his pop star girlfriend all over the place. And especially the people who, are big fans of Ariana Grande, and saying that she would never do anything wrong. They were already divorced, they were already going through things, and this disproves all of that. And I think a lot of people just want to blame him, but also, like, I'm sure Ariana knew he had a wife, you know what I mean, and a kid. So this disproves any kind of theory or inkling people had about, well, maybe we didn't know, maybe they were divorced. Clearly they were not. And my heart hurts for her. And I know, like she said, like, this is going to be a blessing for her and her child. For, this man, this disgusting human, to do this, she did not deserve any of that. And she will find someone who is astronomically better. Also, he's ugly, okay? So I don't want to hear it. And he has an awful personality. And he leaves his wife and his new kid for a pop star. It's so awful. I didn't think she was going to speak out, and the fact that she did, and this is what it is, it just makes the whole situation way worse. And I hate this for them. And we will see. I'm sure Ariana's not going to say anything on it, but I want to see what all these Ariana fans are going to say when they were like, oh, they were divorced, it's fine. So there you go with that. Okay, our next story is some very exciting updates to our previous episode where we talked about the whole Grace and Brianna chicken fry friendship breakup. And Grace O'Malley, she, like I wanted, like we all hoped and predicted, is going to the Unwell network with Alex Cooper. I had this video pop up on my TikTok For You page, and it was Alex Cooper showing a 40-minute phone call she had with Grace, and I was freaking out. And Brianna was freaking out about this. And I am just so excited for her, and I hope she just blows up and gets way more success than she already has. So literally 3 seconds after she announced that Grace would be leaving Barstool, she's already figured out her next move, and that is Alex Cooper's UNWELL network. And I'm just so excited. So basically, Alex obviously posted that whole TikTok and also on Instagram of the phone call with Grace, and then the UNWELL network shared the announcement in a huge Instagram dump. It has a lot of different videos and photos of Grace, and also videos of her celebrating the new partnership. And I'm so excited for her, and I think it's going to be the best next step for her. Of course, Dave and Bree haven't really said anything about it, but I'm sure, of course, they're going to have a lot to say, and we all know that they don't ever keep their mouth shut. So I'm assuming this means, I'm hoping that she goes on Call Her Daddy and just exposes all of them, because I did see on a clip that Dave Portnoy said that Grace did not sign anything, no NDA, so she's free to speak on it, right? So, but I also, just looking back, and I've had a few days to kind of look at the situation again, and I think the way that Grace is handling it is so mature. She is being so quiet. She's making moves that no one knows she's making. Bree's over here running her mouth looking stupid. Dave's doing the same thing, and she's just kind of stepping back. And another thing I wanted to say about it is, like, Bree was in this relationship with Zach Bryan, right? Very abusive, very toxic, very narcissistic. And she chose, right? Like, she stayed with him until she ended up leaving, or he, whatever situation. But that doesn't mean that Grace needed to stay by her if she did not appreciate how she was being treated. Obviously, if, you're at a cabin bonfire and your, friends, boyfriends yelling at you that you're going to amount to nothing, you can set some boundaries. And the fact that Brianna was always, I never know to say Brie or Brianna, but the fact that she was just mad that Grace wasn't defending her, like posting about her, she didn't have to. If she was being treated horribly by Zach, she set boundaries, and that's okay. And I think that Brie was being totally unfair and still just playing victim in all of this. And I think the way she went about it was very public. And I don't think going public when you're in it, when you're having all these heightened emotions, is never the way to go about it. And I think that Grace just kind of sitting back is going to be better in the long run. And I think, we'll see what happens. And I'm excited to kind of hear Grace's side. I'm excited, honestly, to see if and when Brie kind of like chills out, if something, an apology, or I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but it's just interesting to see how different people respond to situations like this. Anyway, I am very excited for this, very happy for Grace, and it's just so exciting. Okay, so this story broke today, I believe, and I have just been reading every single thing I can, because I did not think this was the way it was going to go. Obviously, we remember the whole It Ends With Us promo, the movie, Justin and Blake, and there was something going on with them, and all these things coming out about Blake Lively and, previous interviews. And, we didn't really know what was going on. And let me preface, even though Blake Lively isn't my favorite person, you don't have to love a person to not believe them. You know what I mean? So anyway, we'll just talk about the whole situation, because it's kind of crazy. And I've still been researching, even before 10 seconds I sat down here, because I'm just I want to get all the information and share just the facts. And hopefully I have enough to share for right now with you guys. And I'm sure we'll continue to get more out of this, but I am just in shock. Okay. So Blake Lively is suing Justin Baldoni for sexual harassment and also trying to destroy her reputation. So this genuinely is crazy, because originally in my head, I was just Justin Baldoni seemed like a great guy and all of this stuff. And, we didn't really have any facts that came out. Well, now we have all this stuff coming out. And, I will say all of the videos of Blake Lively and how she was treating interviewers and just the way she handled the whole It Ends With Us promotion, I don't agree with at all. However, Justin, what is wrong with you, dude? Seriously. So during the filming, the sexual harassment part of this whole lawsuit, He had inappropriate discussions about his sexual experiences with Blake Lively. He was showing Blake nude images of women without her consent. And then he was also improvising physical intimacy during scenes that they did not talk about before or rehearse. And then he also allegedly made comments about her weight. So then on the whole reputation section of this lawsuit, after Blake raised concerns about his behavior, she alleges that he retaliated with a smear campaign where his PR team tried to spread negative information about her and planted negative stories during the film's promotion, which, if we all remember, yes, all these different articles kept coming out about Blake Lively, how she's a bully, how she's a mean person, and, you know, all of the different interviews that she had with people, which, not saying she was right in those, but it makes sense now why all of this was coming out because of this whole smear campaign, which learning about this, like a smear campaign, I thought was so interesting and genuinely like really cool. I know it's not a good thing for anyone to be part of a smear campaign, but low-key, like, this is kind of cool to see how this all works. And there's a lot of screenshots that came out as well between Justin and his PR team on how they were going about this smear campaign. But just for, you know, some examples, the lawsuit has texts and emails, again, between Justin and his PR team. And it was just like showing how they were going to try and damage her reputation when she was trying to like say that, you know, Justin's being a little weird on set. And so, for example, he forwarded a social media thread about celebrities who were being labeled as bullies. And then he commented saying, "This is what we would need." And I think it was some article about Hailey Bieber, which was insane. And I think definitely the PR team did a lot of work on trying to bury her with all of these crazy different stories. And apparently his PR team also could like put out negative comments that you would think was just a normal person online, but it's like his PR team. So crazy. I kind of hope this goes to trial because this is so interesting to me, a smear campaign and like everything that they do. So anyway, they also supposedly stopped filming during production and they weren't going to resume until 17 requirements were met on set that Blake Lively said. And so, you know, I think this goes to show that she had an issue with him, you know, before all of these bad press campaigns come out. So for instance, script adherence, because apparently, you know, he was going off doing weird physical scenes with her, avoidance of personal discussions, and prohibition of explicit content. So until these were met, she wasn't going to continue filming. And I think this just proves that he was being a little weird on set because they stopped filming. I think if this happened after the filming was done, it's kind of like a little weird there. But since she was doing all this like while they were filming, I'm sure, you know, she's not doing this just to do it. So I think a lot's going to come out. And if it does go to trial, obviously we're going to get a lot of the facts. This lawsuit, of course, like the lawsuit can maybe have things that aren't true, some things that are true. Justin's lawyer has come out and denied all the allegations, saying that they're false and intentionally defamatory. So maybe like he'll sue Blake with a, you know, defamatory case, whatever that, defamation or something. But this is just so interesting and not where I thought it was going, because I thought this was done and over with. I didn't really think we were going to know what happened. And yeah, I think moreover, who am I? But the fact that she's not like pursuing him being charged in a criminal aspect, I think is just kind of trying to maybe bring her reputation back up because of everything that has come out about her. And, you know, I think two things can be true at the same time. I think the way she went about promoting the movie, I think the way that she has treated people in the past did not help build up her reputation. But also, you know, could that have all just come out because of the smear campaign that Justin did? And then it's also like, obviously Justin is clearly a terrible wacko person. So I think definitely we're not going to get an Ends with Us 2 movie with both of them. That's for sure. And I don't know what's going to come out of this. And we'll see what happens and if it goes to trial or, I mean, I'm sure she has way more money than him. So, I mean, the legal fees, we'll see if they just settle it or I don't know what's going to happen. But we will make sure to keep following this story for sure. Okay, our next story is kind of sad, you guys, because Party City is closing all of their stores and the company went out of business. And this just goes to show, I genuinely think Amazon is just going to take over the world. And to be fair, I order everything from Amazon, But I will say Party City is that one store that I do genuinely still enjoy going to. When I had my bachelorette party, I went there. When I want something for Halloween, I go there. There's so much, like, it's just a great store to go and get everything you need for a party. But after nearly 40 years in business, they will be closing down all of their stores. And the CEO, he was just telling his corporate employees that it's winding down, and that last Friday was the last day of employment. I guess yesterday was Friday. That's so crazy and so sad. They are not receiving severance pay, and their benefits would end as the company goes out of business. Party City's very best efforts have not been enough to overcome its financial challenges, and he said it's really important to know that we've done everything possible that we could to try to avoid this outcome, but it's necessary to commence a wind down process immediately. That is genuinely so sad. I mean, that is not only for the people who are losing their jobs, but also I feel like there's always people there. I've never gone into a Party City and it not be filled with people. That's just a place that you kind of go. When I need, hairspray color for my face or face paint, like I would go there. If I need anything for like a theme, like, it's just kind of sad. I don't know why. I'm just like, there's stores that you're kind of like attached to, because you've been going there for so long. And then the fact that they're like Toys R Us, like that was crazy. But Party City, I mean, I've been going there since I was a kid up to, a year ago. So I don't know, this is sad. But I mean, again, it's like, what can you do? But anyways, very sad news. It's actually like, now the more I think about it, like I went there all the time. Like even like people I know would go to Party City all the time. Like if you need something, go to Party City. What the heck? This is actually like really sad the more I'm thinking about it. Okay, we just need to move on because I can't even think about it anymore. That's actually like, oh my goodness. Okay, our next story. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the 2025 Golden Globe nominees because that is coming up January 5th. And first off, we're going to talk about film. So Best Motion Picture for musical or comedy. Obviously Wicked, Challengers, Anora. Is it Emilia Perez? Is that the one with Selena Gomez? A Real Pain, and The Substance. Obviously, I want Wicked to win. I think The Challengers will be a good contender. Also, have you guys seen The Substance? Because I thought it was some weird movie in a different country, but it's apparently, I was on the subway and there was an ad for The Substance, and it's actually a really creepy, scary movie, but Loki looks like somewhat good. But anyway, thought it was interesting. What else? Best Performance by an Actor in a Motion Picture. Timothée Chalamet, Coleman Domingo, Sebastian Stan, Adrian Brody. Again, I don't know like a lot of these people, but Best Performance by an Actress in a Motion Picture. Obviously, Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Carla Sofia in Emilia Perez, Demi Moore in The Substance, Zendaya Challengers, Amy Adams, and Night Bitch. I've never even heard of that one. Best Performance by an Actor in Musical or Comedy. Hugh Grant in Heretic, Glenn Powell in Hitman, Sebastian Stan, A Different Man, Jesse Eisenberg, A Real Pain, Gabriel LaBelle, Saturday Night. Okay, and then the supporting role for an actress, Ariana Grande is nominated for that, as well as Selena Gomez and Emilia Perez. I think Ariana will probably get that. Margaret in The Substance, and Isabella Rossellini in Conclave. And then Best Supporting Actor, Denzel Washington in Gladiator 2, Jeremy Strong, The Apprentice, Edward Norton, A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce, The Brutalist. That's the thing is, I've only heard of a few of these, and so it's like if the ones I've heard of don't win, it's kind of like, okay, why did I even watch this? But okay, cinematic and box office achievement. Beetlejuice, Wicked, Twisters, Gladiator 2, Inside Out 2, Deadpool, and Wolverine. That will be interesting. Best Animated Motion Picture, Inside Out 2, Moana, The Wild Robot, Flow, Memoir of a Snail. That sounds so cute. Oh my goodness, that actually sounds really cute. Okay, then we have Best TV Series Drama. Let's see if I've heard of any of these because half the time I have not. But The Diplomat, Shogun, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Squid Game, Slow Horses. Okay, I've heard of Squid Game. Best TV Series Comedy or Musical, Abbott Elementary, The Bear, The Gentleman, Hacks, Nobody Wants This, Only Murders in the Building. Now, I want Only Murders to win. Obviously, I'm biased and I love them. Nobody Wants This was really good. I think, will it be The Bear, Abbott Elementary? I feel like they always win. Best performance by an actress in a TV series, Kristen Bell, Nobody Wants This, Selena Gomez. Yay, queen. Quinta Brunson, Abbott Elementary, Katherine Hahn, Agatha All Along, Jean Smart Hacks. Best performance by an actor. Both Steve Martin and Martin Short are nominated for Only Murders in the Building. Jeremy Allen White, The Bear. He won last year, right? For The Bear, I think. Ted Danson, Man on the Inside. Adam Brody, Nobody Wants This. So I think the TV ones are going to be very, very, very interesting to see who's going to win. And I don't know. I never know who is going to. Okay, this one, Sofia Vergara for Griselda. She's nominated for Best Performance by an Actress in a Limited Series. That would be cute if she won. Okay, that's really good. I feel like most of the time I haven't heard of any of them, but for Wicked, I really hope that they win, and then also a few of the shows that I've seen. We'll see what happens with that, but that will be January 5th. So our last little story, I kind of did like a little recap of just all of the shows that we talk about on the show that are being renewed for next year, and also different shows that I watch that have a date that are coming out finally, because I feel like a lot of times we get like, oh, this is renewed, but we never know when it's actually coming out. So renewed TV dates. First one, and the one that I'm most excited for, because I will be recapping this show, so if you want to watch with me, I think they put everything out at once on Peacock. It might be weekly, I don't know. Anytime I've watched it before, it's already been posted. But The Traitors, this comes out January 9th, and we've talked about it before, but you guys need to watch this show, okay? It is just so good. There are so many people on this season that I'm sure you've heard of, no matter who you are. It's so addicting. It's so good. My husband and I literally binged one of these seasons in a day and a night. Not even kidding. It's addicting. So that comes out January 9th, and we'll be recapping because it's good. It's so, so good. Now, Tell Me Lies season 3 is renewed, and it got renewed, guys, 2 months after the season finale. So I actually just started watching Tell Me Lies a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was longer than that, but my friend finally convinced me, and I started it, binged it, okay? It is one of the best shows I've ever watched in a long, long time. And then season 2 came. Obviously, we have that crazy cliffhanger ending, and now it's already renewed for a season 3. This one we don't have a date for, but I think since it did so well, hopefully they give us more content very soon, and I'm very excited for this. Okay, next, Summer House. This comes out February 12th. This is a Bravo show. My favorite Bravo show. It's the only one I've seen every single season of. It's just so good, and especially because Lindsay Hubbard, one of my favorite people, she just gave birth to her little baby Gemma, so congrats to Lindsay. And this is the season where we find out she's pregnant, and it's going to be interesting to see if they do a new season and if Lindsay will return. I doubt she will, just because she had a baby. Also, if Kyle and Amanda have a kid, I'm sure Summer House might be coming to an end sooner rather than later, which I'm really sad about, because this is such a good show, you guys. Seriously, it's so good. But we'll see. I'm glad we still have another season. So that will be out February 12th. I will be recapping that as well. And then our last one is, we already have a new Survivor season that will be coming February 26th of next year, season 48. Obviously, we just had the season 47 finale, which if you guys have not watched Survivor, you need to watch this also. And you can genuinely start with this season, because I think this season had the best blindsides I've seen in a long, long, long time. One thing I will say about the finale is, I remember when they used to do like a live studio audience when they announced the winner. And I do like it how they have it now, where, you know, they just announced the winner. They're all kind of still haven't gone home yet. They're all in the like Survivor whatever island. And when they're doing their whole like question and answer, I mean, they are in it, and it's never going to be as more real and raw than they are right now. But I did love when they, you know, had a few months to kind of like go home, and then they got announced the winner, and we could see them all dressed up. But anyway, that will be coming out February 26th. And I wish, like, if Survivor can do 2 seasons a year, why can Dancing with the Stars not do it? You know what I mean? But anyway, that is this week's podcast episode. I hope you all enjoyed, and we'll be back next week for our last episode of 2024. You guys, I can't. That is crazy to me. Is that not crazy? This year flew by. I can't believe it. But anyway, I hope that if you are traveling for Christmas, that you drive safe. just like enjoy the Christmas season, because it's going to be over sooner rather than later, unfortunately. But I love you guys so much. Make sure that you go subscribe to the YouTube. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, just hit the little 5 stars at the top. And if you're not following the Instagram, go follow the Instagram, the TikTok, even though it might be getting banned. I don't want to talk about it getting banned though, because fingers crossed, like, I'm just not gonna talk about it and it won't get banned, but we'll see. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great week, an amazing Christmas, and I will see you back here next week for some more hot gossip, hot take stories, and advice that will have you saying literally what. Bye guys.